technical manager and director. And for those who do not know what that is, could you say a little bit about it?
Yeah. So my work is I work a lot in multi-camera productions. So that's mainly live TV, everything from sports to entertainment, thing like Maskorama and football production. So, and I'm responsible for the technical setup, so that the editorial people have what they need for doing the job. So with a team, then we put up the cameras, get everything to work, and get the show on air. Yeah.
But what do these roles entail in a production? What do you have to worry about? What do you
always worry about the technique?
Yeah.
If it's work or not. So mainly it's like when we plan a production, we know that on Saturday there is a football match at that stadium. Then we need to plan how many cameras, how big crew we need, on the position. We will have the reporter inside the arena, outside the arena, all that. We have commentators, all that kind of stuff. And then it's melting down to a technical plan that I'm writing, and I'm responsible for the crew. That's when we arrive, everybody knows what they have to do. Pull the camera cables in that direction, and the stadium is in that direction. Those kind of stuff, and making it ready for the program. So and I also do a little bit of directing, since you were mentioning that, but that's not my mainly stuff. But I like to do it as well, on some smaller projects. Yeah,
because it's so technical manager and director is two different things.
Yeah, a little bit two different things. But when we have really small productions, then we are combining roles. So we need to small production, then we need to do a lot of stuff, sitting there in a one-man band. But when it's getting bigger, we're adding more people and adding roles, and then we have a more dedicated director, and that's a little bit above my my experience, but
that sounds really interesting, having to ensure that everything goes smoothly during live productions, and it's really interesting.
So if everything works, I have a really nice day at work. But when shit hits the fans, then it can be very, very stressful, and we're always on the clock, right? Because we know that the match, or we got to be on air at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, or we cannot postpone it the rest of the day. That's the advantage and or the positive thing, but also the negative about working with live productions.
Because difficulties during live, when something happens, how do you go about trying to fix it? Is it
we always try to have a backup solution, of course, but sometimes we need to now the camera down there is not working. We need to then we need to have really talented people in front of the screen that can just keep talking, talking, and we see when the host, it's starting to be more and more stressful. But if you have a really nice host, they just cover you up and do the talking. But sometimes, of course, you don't have to mention now that we cannot go any further in the program because of this thing. With just keep talking and you can work on. But
and usually on the productions you work on. How big is the crew usually?
Well, it depends. The project from 4 or 5 people up to when we have big ski productions in the winter. Then we can be 100 people because we have a lot of cameras in a big ski production. We can have 50 cameras, 50 cameras in the woods.
Wow.
So then that is a lot of people to deal with. But that's what I really like. It's so different. We can be on a small, for example, small productions and small sports, and we need to be very good at being the small crew, and then we need to have really talented people that can do a lot of different stuff. But also we can have a big production, and we need to know that everybody knows what they need to do and plan that really well.
And a lot of equipment. Imagine with so many people.
A lot of trucks and a lot of cables and a lot of coordination, because you need to coordinate with the local people and with the sports and all that stuff. So it depends. It's from 4 to 100.
That's a big span. And like today's theme in regards to the podcast, it's sustainability, and we were just talking about before that NRK and you yourself, you're constantly trying to improve and make an effort in production in regards to sustainability. And would you like to?
I can
to
talk a
give
little
us-
bit,
Yes.
or of course we are in the media industry, as every industry, we are of course having a lot of focus on sustainability, and
Yeah.
we need to change things, and we need to be more sustainability in the
Yeah.
way we produce content, and of course, so we are the thing that I think is very interesting, that we actually, when we actually need to change how we work because of sustainability, to get together to be better in sustainability. So we're like changing our work methods and the way we set about production, because of we gaining a lot of sustainability. Then we're lower the CO2 because of we have a lot of travel
Yeah.
in the live production. We travel a lot around the country because all the different productions are around, and we, for example, that's a big focus. Can we lower the amount of people traveling? But of course that it's challenging because we're getting more divided crew and divided team people.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting way, and we need to have focus on it because we need to take the responsibility as well.
Yeah, of course. And especially when it comes down to trucks,
Yeah.
I can imagine that that's a strong focus on like let's try.
Yeah,
Let's
always
try
the focus on like let's travel less, let's
Yeah.
travel with less equipment, and
Yep.
So we have like we're working on different production methods, so we
Mhm.
can do more and more remotely,
Yeah.
and that's it important. But again, it's a challenge for the that people are more divided.
Yeah.
We cannot having the perfect meeting and briefing in front of every production, and we need to plan more
Mhm.
and be more focused on that stuff.
Yep.
But we do this a lot, and I guess it will be more and more
Yeah.
on it. Yeah.
And do you have by any chance, we Media Nord interviewed Hanna Nibesson, which her job is sort of eco-coordinator on production on TV series and so forth. Do you have someone in NRK that?
Yeah, we have a lot of people that working on this.
Yeah.
I'm not totally into it, but but we are having this green producer tool that's
Mhm.
measure all the that production coordinators are
Yep.
writing down, and so we are doing a CO2 calculation on
Yeah.
the production. And if we move these 4 people, they can be home. How much less CO2 are we having an outcome on? So yes, we have a lot of focus on that,
Yep.
and we said that we need to take sustainability actions in every production and then every action that we do.
Yeah.
So yes, we are a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of focus on the
That's really nice.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's really
that's
nice.
great that it's always something that you guys consider and trying to constantly improve, because maybe some stuff that we are working on, or NRK is working on with sustainability, maybe that becomes the new norm.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's really
Yeah.
it's really important and really
And-
interesting.
And I feel like when we are taking action more than just changing from like a plastic cup to a wood or cup, like we actually taking more action than just changing one item to another item, but actually are changing the working method.
Yeah.
Then I think it's getting really interesting, because then it affects more. It of course it affects more on the environment, but it also affects more on people.
Yeah.
So I think that's very interesting. But it's not that easy also
Yeah.
always. But yeah.
Yeah, we were talking yesterday with Bente Molen, and she takes sustainability, very seriously, but she also agrees with the fact like in this industry it's so hard
Yeah.
to just like make it green. It's barely impossible. So we try our best to make it greener,
Yeah.
but of course it will take a long time.
Yeah.
And but that's great. That's great that at least you're sort of setting an example as well for other production companies, and especially for us students.
And we try so,
Yeah.
but we can always be better, of course. But
Yeah.
And as I said, we try to focus on trying new stuff as well. So since we are a public broadcaster, we need to try new way of working, and if that can help other part of the industry or other levels, that's of course it's nice achievements as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we need to have a especially focus on that since we are a public broadcaster as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving along from sustainability to a little bit about your career. So, directing and managing live TV is really interesting, and it's 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 really cool. So, how could you tell us a little bit about your journey from school to directing live TV? Like,
Yeah.
how did you end up there?
Well, so I think I was like 15, 14 years. I was like, okay, I really want to work with media production in some way. I didn't know which direction though, but I wanted to work in some way with it. So I went in high school. I went and having like I like photography, web page, all that kind of stuff. And then I found at Lillehammer, the college at Lillehammer, I found that like, oh, they have a very nice TV producer, or not TV technician and TV production line, mainly focused on multi-camera production. And that was like, and they have like, it's only 15 people in each class. So like, I was very keen on going there. And I tried to gain as much as experience on my to get into that school. And I did not get a place the first year, but the second year I managed to get in. So that was I was really happy about that. And it was like 3 years with different kind of production, with multi-camera production. The same way I do now, everything from sports to entertainment, and we have a lot of project on the school, but also on the side. And I really like that we were a class with 15 people, and we're like we having social time together, and we went to school together, and it was like very connected class, and it was very nice to be a part of that. So I think that's media has always been like very interesting for me. And then I found out during some different projects that I think multi-camera was the multi-camera and live stuff was the right thing. Yeah.
So was it that you went to university with this, and how did that help you get a job at NRK? How did that help you?
I started. I was. The school is in Lillehammer, and it's like 2.5 hours from Oslo. So you can do a lot. You can work a little bit on the side. I was working maybe a little bit too much, but at that time it doesn't feel like that much. But so I was having like a side. I worked the same way I went to school. In the weekends and I worked a little bit in Oslo and did that, and then I get it a little bit more networking, and I work as a freelancer, because on those kind of production you work like on a daily basis mainly. So you can get like one production. So I started with a lot of assistance work, like working as a camera assistant and technical assistant and pulling cables and rigging monitors and all that. Yeah. So I did that a lot, and then I got more and more experience, and then I applied for some work. Yeah.
Awesome.
And how was the sort of the path to getting settled and like be sort of recognized as a professional? Like how many obstacles and difficulties did you encounter?
I don't have like a clearly number, but of course I think it's a lot of being curious and being interested in the way. I was of course I was very nerdy and very interested in my professional and in the technique and the production methods and all that kind of stuff. So I used a lot of time on that, and I think that's mainly was one of my the reasons that I got the job and got the work then, because I was so focused on it and used a lot of time. But of course it's like trying to combining taking new the combination of, okay, you get a new possibility, but are you ready for it, and do I have the faith that I can manage to do it? That was hard because it's like, okay, I can have that nice offer, but can I do it? Is it I'm good enough now? No, maybe I need to wait a little bit, and those kind of stuff. And they always like see elder people like, can he take that job? No. It's somebody others need to do that. So that I think that's a little bit a tough thing when you're coming and being young people into those kind of freelance work.
But it must be it's nice when it pays off. And then you're there and you spend your time and you see that it's working, and then you can be proud. And
but it's a nice. I think I was really happy. I really enjoyed working in that in the industry, and it was and that was nice. We were a small class, and we were working together also during the school and also after the school. So we have so it was nice to being more people together on that journey. So yeah,
a nice sense of community.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially I can imagine with 15 people.
Yeah.
You really create a strong bond.
Yeah. And Lillehammer is not that big, so of course you see the same people a lot. Yeah.
And doing just a bit of research, but actually also yesterday at your seminar on End Action, you were talking about editing live TV.
Yeah.
With VR headsets, if I'm not mistaken, the new Apple Vision,
right.
Vision Pro, which for people who are listening this for the first time might seem like something coming out of a George Orwell book or like science fiction.
Yeah.
How did that come into place? What was the idea behind it, and how did it improve everything?
Okay, yeah, I can tell a little bit about the project. So of course, we see that we have a lot when we're doing a live production.
Yeah.
We use a lot of time on rigging screens and putting up monitors and panels, and everything is pretty fixed. Like when we're having like one production gallery, we use a lot of time building it at that place at that time, and that takes a lot of time, and it's a lot of equipment again that we're traveling around with, or we can have it in a van, or So the idea was like, okay, we can have this VR and AR headset that we can. How can we utilize this? So and of course, it's also we see a nice new product. How can we gain our work and get better in our work with this? And of course, everything is moving fast in the media industry. Things are changing. We need to change the production method. We need to change the content, and that is happening so rapidly. So we need to look at new way to do it, and So it started with that idea actually, and how can we get a producer, or how can we make TV with this? That was mainly the idea. The idea. And then we like tear stuff down. Like, okay, we need a monitor, we need the panels, we need to control stuff. And how can we get that into a regular Apple Vision Pro?
And looking at the pictures,
did we look smart, or
it looked really interesting, because of course you're the only ones that can see what you're doing.
It's very ego when we're having the headsets at work, and we want to show to people as well. It's like it's very ego, because it's not we're getting a little social distance just to have the glasses on, and that's a little bit terrible though.
But on the opposite side, everyone wearing goggles can have 5 different screens at the same time. So that is also like a sort of a space related issue that might have improved as well.
And we're not always agreed on how we want to set things up. Like if you're 5 people working in the same room, we got 5 different wishes on how we want to have the setup and how we want that stuff. So that was also a big idea with it. Like, okay, how can everybody making their personal setup? And and I'm not that happy, totally happy with that all the image or the main image. Like, I think the most important thing that's through the Drevland is in the picture, not that we are looking totally stupid. I felt like, oh, this is I'm happy.
But that was incredible, and you managed to make it work with the controls, with the mixers, and
so then we starting. Okay, we needed to get the video into the glasses, and everybody, when you do live productions, you always want to have like low latency as possible with the video, and so we tried to have that as low as possible. We didn't manage to do it so fast as we wanted, but that's not the important stuff. It was good enough for this kind of production. The thing we were making is like 15 people in a room talking to each other, having a discussion or debate. So it's not that time critical as a fast football match or ice hockey production. Like this is like more slow, and then we can. It's important. Just then we can lower our what we need as well. So we got the panels into it and control of it, and the audio mixer and the graphics. So we had everybody sitting there, and yeah, it's like 4 or 5 hours of production.
Yeah.
It's long to sit with a headset, I will say. But we managed to get it work, and that was
Yep.
it was fun. Everybody's getting this panda. When you take off the glasses, you have like a big white
marking.
Yeah.
But how was doing the work different from having a keyboard, screens? How was that different from these glasses?
Yeah.
Like touching the air and
yeah.
doing these things? How was that different?
It was very different on the side that we wanted like to test different, like we talk about like gestures and doing that integration. But we managed. I think my experience so far is that it's nicest to have panels on like time critical stuff. Like you just like to have like the hands on the wheel when you're driving. It's like you don't drive the car with just pinched in the air. That was like you don't feel like you have that control of the car if you're like driving in a VR headset.
Drive like this.
yeah. And then it's like, oh, it's a little bit nogging, and So I really like that. Okay, let's get. We need to have like one wheel at least that we can have our hands on. I think that's an important lesson. But it's nice that we can start integrating or doing more different kind of controls, because then we know that. Like we talked about, sometimes we are 10 people in the room, sometimes we are 2, and then we need to get easier way of controlling all stuff. So it was different, but I think so far I like panels the best. But monitors it's nice, but it's also you got a lot of content very close, and some it's your eyes is getting tired during the day, I will say.
Because you're constantly on it, like it's not that you can look away, it's just but you can, then it's nicer to get reminders, or you can get like pop-ups, so you need to remember this, and you need to a lot of feature you can add into it that's only for me. And you think you're gonna do it again?
We're very keen on doing it again. We're not complete. One idea we have, like next time we want to maybe have. Now we're sitting in the same room but everybody's like looking at low resolution content, so we can put people at home. So maybe next time we sit at each, we can sit remotely, and we can sit at home and do that, because of course we have been discussing, can we make TV from home or this, but then we need to bring a lot of equipment home. But if we get everything into the glasses, then we can sit. So that's maybe the next idea. I'm not completely sure. That could be fun to test.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Like working from home, doing this TV. That sounds so cool, and it sounds like accessible as well. So you don't have to bring like 3 screens and all these wires and home office for TV producers. It's a little bit it's a long way, but I think we'll want to try that. Sounds really cool, and it seems like you have this drive for innovation, and this kind of maybe might dictate your future steps. And what are your next goals that you hope to achieve about like with this coming year or coming decade? Or
I think it's very interesting, because so many stuff are changing now these days in the media industry. I feel pretty young though. Well, I'm only worked with this like for maximum 10 years. So and so much has changed these 10 years. So imagine what will be in the next 10, 20 years. It's really hard to think about. I don't know how you felt after yesterday's all the session. People are talking about everything is changing.
It was very overwhelming. Like, oh my god, everything is different.
It's not the easiest time maybe to be students and seeing clearly I want to go in this direction, or but I don't have a clear we have some innovation projects a little bit similar like this, taking this to the next step. I think that's maybe then the next step I think I will work on, but I really like to see how we can change the way we work. Not like, okay, it's a cool new technical part, that's not the most important thing, but how can we like change the workflow around it? I think that's maybe what I find most fun.
And finding new solutions, I imagine.
And of course it is important that I want to align it with what we have. I'm working on the technical side, but we of course have the editorial needs. And of course we are in the media industry or TV production, we are very focused on like making every production lighter, easier, more flexible. So that's mainly my focus. I think that's to make each production easier and more flexible way. It's like a big word, but
Yeah, and especially I imagine the more flexible, the more lighter, the more money you are able to save. So, and it also would make it more sustainable as well. So it is a sort of trying to get a win-win-win situation.
But it's a little bit hard because I feel like a lot of focus now is like, it's not like how can we make the biggest production even bigger. It's like more how can we make the medium, small production better and easier. Like that's like that. I will say that's mainly stuff I work on now.
And in regards to AI, but more on like the production side, what are the main changes that you're seeing?
I haven't dived like completely into the live production part of it, but I have seen some projects where people, for example, are trying to produce like a ping pong match with AI cameras. I saw like that was like an innovation stage on the trade show. They made like a test setup of that. That's interesting. And of course we have this like one camera production of like a football match. Then they have like one big high resolution camera that's and then they take out like a HD picture with AI. So that's the mainly project I've seen. But I know that people are working on, not at our side though, but like mainly how can they automate more of a live production. But I think it's hard because it's so many editorial things you do when you're doing a live production. So, but of course, repeatedly sports, it's like, for example, the ping pong match could be interesting too.
But I can see how now, maybe in 50 years, you will be completely different. But right now, there is no way of like, making sure that AI gets everything out of a football match that we want and that we know.
No, I don't think that yet, but we had a lot of automating. For example, we do a lot of color calibrating on cameras. That's something where you can look at how can you more you have some technical stuff that you could do easier. But I don't think it's like we don't have like clearly vision on how we can do it into directly produce. I haven't seen so many projects on it yet though, but and I haven't tested out that much on that side. No.
As we were talking earlier, that AI, everything is changing. Everything is, you need to adapt and you need to do it. And also one of your colleagues at NRK as well, he was explaining how AI is helping news and the website, and how he got more attention, especially out of a younger public. And when it comes down to live TV and the crew and the sort of your colleagues, is how big of a focus is innovation and AI? Or at least how big is it becoming?
I'm not again into the AI in the live. I haven't seen that much focus on it, but of course it reflects us on the a lot of tools we can use around it. For example, like one of the things Thomas talked about yesterday, like we can when we're having a live a camera going out and doing a lot of interviews, and then he made this tool that you can transcribe everything into, and we're linking up metadata from all interviews together with the time code of the video. That's really interesting. And I see tools from companies that you can, for example, you can search for when you have a big metadata, and you can just search for Donald Trump in front of the flag saying China. Then they just list out everything from the database that have Donald Trump on stage talking about saying China in front of the flag. That's you gain a lot of metadata work on those kind of stuff. So that's will of course do it a lot more easier for people. And again, like you talked about, we need to learn how to use the tool. I think that's the most important stuff that we learn when we see tools coming up, and how can we utilize it in our setup and our that will be important. I'm not that afraid that my job will be taken over by AI,
Yeah.
but I know that I need to learn when it coming to it. I need to learn
Yeah.
how to use them, because then if not, I will fall a lot behind. I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Mm.
And I think our university, for example, should already start to get a look into AI and how to at least give us a background on maybe a little bit of coding, a little bit of programming, understanding what we're going into. Because, well, for now, I don't think we should be worrying too much about losing our jobs because we still don't have a job in the industry. So.
That's true.
But at least we know what we're coming up against, and because there's going to be, maybe instead of being a filmmaker or an assistant on a production, maybe there's going to be a technician that works behind and programs and develops a AI tool. So how do you suggest we adapt?
I in my side, I really like to also learn more about, like, I'm know a lot about TV technique, like, and that's kind of stuff, and cameras and those kind of stuff. But I also see that I want to learn more about the IT side of it, like and for example AI tools and the bridge between being like a TV technician compared to know a little bit about code and those kind of stuff. I think that's really interesting. Then you I think you always will have a job if like a IT slash TV technician. Then so that but I'm not completely sure how you should dive in it. But I'm also looking more into that kind of combine, because IT is coming in every production method and every technical setup we are working. So especially IT is like those kind of stuff is like I'm really interesting to learn more about it. And I see that we need a lot of people knowing production, but also knowing basic IP, those kind of stuff. So I think that's earlier all TV stuff and the cameras were like it's just a camera, and then you have like very proprietary controls and very special boxes next to it. But now everything's like that's have a Wi-Fi, that's have an Ethernet cable, and everything needs to talk to each other. And setting up those kind of stuff, I think that's a lot of the But it's not that AI yet. But I think that's important.
Know a little bit of both. And sort of merge it together.
One thing I'm curious about, because you worked with like cameras and the technical stuff. How did you start with the VR or like the AR project? How did that come about? Like, how did you start?
It come down to being curious again on like what can this change our way of working, and how, and we saw that how can it change? We it's important because VR has been like a lot. It has been some focus on it, but we know that we need to see both. Like in an AR world, we need to like both see what we're doing with our hands and see what we're doing inside a multiverse so I think that's being curious about different new kind of techniques and stuff. I think that was the mainly stuff that I'm like, okay, this new box, how can we use this? I think that was the start of it.
It's really cool.
And if you could choose one project that you enjoyed the most or that you love doing the most, which one would it be?
Okay. I actually this headset project. I think that was been. It's pretty. Because it's like. It's the contents both that like typical TV producing, but it's also like doing something completely new. And a lot of people saying, we cannot do this. This will be hard. This will be not possible. And we cannot do it because of this and this. And then actually. It was really fast and short period of time as well. The idea come in May,
Yeah.
and we got a app developer and some very skilled people internally that could help us with making it.
Yeah.
And it's only in 4 months then we have it. We used it.
Yeah.
So and also AR and VR is quite complicated stuff. And I'm not totally on the app side, but so that is it was very cool to see it happening so fast.
Yeah.
And also just test. And the way I like in TV, like we are not that if we have a new idea, then we don't need to wait like 1 to 2 to 3 years to say now maybe we can test it. It's like we find a production. And it's this fall we have this production that date. Yeah. What can we do before that date? How long can we come before that date? And seeing very little bit tough, but also having clearly dates and production to work on. I think that's very cool. Yeah.
That's really nice. And if you could choose one more thing,
I can choose many things.
This is in regards to us students and perhaps future colleagues.
Yeah.
What advice would you give us?
Advice. Again, for the first time you said future colleagues, of course. And you're together. I also like remember that you also are future colleagues together. I think that's. But the mainly thing I will say that like being curious. I think that's and try to gain as much experience as possible, because I was feeling that was the one thing we were good at my school. We together we do a lot of production at school and like you did do now on the side of the school. I think that's how you because TV and media industry is not that theoretical. It's like we don't have, or at least at my school we didn't have any books actually. We only had like we do production and then we gain experience and then you find out, okay, I like this, I try to do more of what I like, and then I tried this and I didn't like that so much, okay, I'm doing a little bit more of that position or that. So it's mainly like it's actually a very cool industry because you can do so many things and you can try out so many things. I think when you go to school. So I think that's being curious and try a lot of stuff. I think that will be my mainly because then it's easy. Then when you do that, then you get a lot of experience. And then you can gain and you can do new kind of stuff and you can dive into the professional and get works. So I think that will be my mainly advice.
And the same thing actually our previous guest Anders was like, be curious and go out and try it and do it, and I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
And it's not very bad if you do a mistake and if you do we're not like we do sometimes when we were at work we like trying we don't get anything to work, we're not working at the hospital, we're working this only a camera. So hopefully we get it to work after all, but like that's we can. It's important that when you're doing mistakes that it's what you're learning of. And
we are so privileged, to be doing this, to be doing films, multicam production, TV series, anything that has to do with media, and so it is really, you have to show your passion and go out, be curious and try out stuff even if it doesn't work, and then you try again.
It's nice because I feel like I have my hobby is my work and my work is my hobby. It's very nice, but it's also a little bit hard sometimes when you want to okay, I'm also I need to do other stuff as well. I need to have other stuff in my life that's not only TV and technique, and that's important to remember as well. But but it's I think very many people come into the industry because it's like their hobby, and they combining that stuff and the hobby, passion, and work together. It's perfect, but also challenging.
Because it becomes 24/7.
Exactly.
Yes. I don't have any more questions.
Neither do I. So.
And that's it.
That is it. I feel I've learned a lot, and it's like I kind of want to try to do multi-camera things now. It's like, whoa.
Totally do it. It's like we talked about earlier. It's like the reason I moved into it's like we were doing a lot of movies at school as well. But I was like, it takes a long time in the editorial room. And I was like, I really like to get at work. You're doing a production. and you're done on air, and you can pack your stuff together and then come back, and that was the first thing I really liked, the live feeling. That was really like, okay, you know, or for example a concert, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of noise, and it's very nice to do those kind of productions, and I really like the and also nice with the multi-camera side. It's like you're mainly a big team working together. Is like you're having a lot of people that's working on the same output, and that's also very nice to have like the team feeling and so try multi-camera production. That's my selling.
Yeah,
Thank you.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you
so much.
for making our knowledge. That's the wrong way of saying it. Thank you for making us smarter and more knowledgeable. That's the word. But yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
And
thank you for taking the time.
yeah.
Now we are, if you would like to just join us for the last part, we are gonna do a little giveaway. And so, ladies and gentlemen, Anilia, if you could just.
Oh yes. Thank you very much. Here.
Our lovely producer Valeria just came in to drop it off. Ladies and gentlemen, finally we have the lottery. Would you do us the favor?
Yeah.
To actually.
But before we do
Yes.
that, here is the first prize. So the people who are chosen now get to win these beautiful bottles. So 2 people gets a bottle. It says Nord University on it. It's pretty cool. I love it. You've seen me drink out of it. And I love it from personal experience. So yeah, would you do the honors?
And does it fall out ultimately, or?
I think it should be maybe the other way around.
There.
And there you go. And yes.
Yes.
And this number in here, or?
This should be the name of the winner.
Joachim.
Joachim! Congratulations.
You won one of these.
Congratulations.
Congrats. And
If
then
you won, you can spin once more.
another one gets to win this.
It's this way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And there you go.
Perfect. And again, the same guy. You get really lucky on third.
All right. And
Well.
then,
And next, this is actually what I would love to have. Even though I'm wearing one sweater of Nord University.
hold on, let me.
We have 2 hoodies. I think this one, the first one, it's medium size, and we have XL as well. So whoever the 2 winners are, then you can switch between you 2, or not, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you don't want to. Yes. So let's get right into
Get
it.
new names.
Mm-hmm.
Winner of this lovely sweater.
There we go.
Will there be Joachim again, or?
Or
It was a little bit stuck in here. Let's see.
oh, Pamela.
Come on.
Pamela, congratulations. After years and years of fighting for your sweaters, you finally have yours.
And then another
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Okay. Nice.
Here it is.
And the last lucky winner today is the last. Yeah.
We still
Oh,
have
two
two
more.
things.
Yes.
Pamela.
Oh my God, Pamela, you won again. You won again another hoodie.
Then
Nice.
so the last 2 things that we have is these beautiful tote bags. And I must say, holding these, the quality is so good. And it says Nord University on it, if you can see. Yeah, it's really good. So 2 winners of tote bags.
And the first winner. I will say I'm not.
Oh, no.
Was it? It was this way. Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. There.
Yes. Perfect. And the next winner is Natty.
Natalia, wow. Congratulations, Natalia.
And we try one more.
One more.
One more.
Last tote bag.
Oh.
The tension.
Good tension. Oh.
Come.
Nobody wants to get into the. Oh. We
Oh.
got one.
Green.
Green.
Oh.
Yay.
Hey.
Okay. Let's find out the last name. Is Lars.
Lars. Wow.
Welcome.
Wow. Wow. I feel that this was rigged.
Joachim and
Joachim and Pamela.
yeah.
Yeah.
They pay you.
I
Well,
think they paid to get inside.
something is right now. Well, that's all from us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining.
Yes, and thank you, audience. Remember to subscribe to this channel and to follow us on @MediaNord on Instagram to stay tuned.
Yes, that's all. Thank
So,
you.
Thank you so much once
Yeah.
again, Tarald.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no, it was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
And yes.
It was nice to be here. Thank you
Yes.
so much for having me.
Yeah, it was super interesting.